Alright. So, it is Friday, the 29th of November, which is insane. Black Friday! Woo! And it is also time for the weekly Second Dynasty stream.
Oh yeah!
I am your host, Ben. Owner, operator, creator, Wonderkin. In the background you can probably hear the snickers, giggles and laughs of Albin and the rest of the Second Dynasty crew. Cornelia and Liselot are here as well, so we're full steam ahead today. How is everyone doing in the chat? We've got Tamsin, Solo Spirit, Shergul, John of course, also a part of the team, a very important part of the team. We miss you, buddy. We have derivative content, which is kind of like what we make. And Brian Romba, Will Richards, hi, welcome. So here we have something we haven't seen for a good long while, and yeah, let me get you to the updates before we talk about Odyssey and the Argo, because a lot has happened in the last week. And one of those things is that after we talked to my mini factory, we realized that a direct competitor was launching on the same day as us for our brand new Gridforge, and we couldn't have that. They were very kind and able to rearrange marketing, because when you run a Frontier, basically, if my mini factory isn't running ads, any promotion is just where we promote for ourselves. So it's a lot more limited than a Kickstarter where you get in organic traffic. So the marketing really matters. We're also at that point of the year where people are just oversaturated by things. So we don't expect Gridforge to be a massive new project. You never know. But the idea is to release it out into the world and then to support it. So we really have something awesome on our hands, I feel. And the good news for you, as the consumer, or fan or user of our tiles, is that you get it a week earlier, because they wanted us to push up the campaign to December 10th. Which means now we're running around like chooks without their heads. I said without their heads. Oh god. It is Friday. Albin is testing the limits of Oh, sorry, I'm coughing up too much. I ate just before the stream. Albin has lost his mind, or maybe he never had it, John says.
I'm thinking more like I got planted with something.
I like it that John thinks that we only need to make 1 million so that he can launch humans into space.
Oh!
Although he didn't say how much of a human.
And how the launch is going to...
So my point is, if we can get back to what I was talking about, we are in a position where suddenly we have 5th Frontier War delivery to start mid-December. We have Gridforge launching on December 10th. And in the background, I also have to prepare for some stuff for next year. Which is fun. There's a lot going on right now. And Tribes. Oh yeah, we forgot about Tribes. No, Tribes is sorted. It is ready to go literally in 2 days. Oh my god. So that is when we're premiering the Hyperion Sphere, which is also a little preview of Gridforge. Hey Blasted, how you going? So yeah, I just wanted to update you on that. So we're going to be a bit mad, and what is more mad than having so much work that you have to suddenly do than to go in a completely different direction on a whim? Well, some of that is actually based off the fact that it can be quite boring when starting new projects, or with Gridforge, a lot of it is converting existing tiles to the Gridforge system. It is completely compatible with OpenLog, by the way, and we have started putting out more information. So stay tuned. And if you do subscribe to our newsletter, we did do a send out this morning that has some pretty graphics. Go to our Frontier page. The link is in the description below. Sign up to get some test prints that you can try out. But I know some of the people here, hey Clive, yes, we started without you, but that's because you were late. Anyway, yes, some people have already test printed it. The Gridforge system, such as Shergel, has done like a complete... To be fair, Shergel did a lot of custom pieces, but he has recreated a lab ship from Traveller using the system, which looks fantastic. He is a mad lad, and this one is in 28mm, right? I think it must be. I don't think Gridforge is really as downwards compatible as OpenLog, so... Alright, so speaking of Mad Lads and Mad Lad plans, this is the Odyssey, which was a campaign based on the Chimera platform that we put out maybe 2 years ago, I want to say. I'm not sure. And
we need to confirm it.
Yeah, there you go. And this was something we did, I think at the start of 2022. January to March is probably the worst time for us because everyone's burnt out after Christmas and so are their wallets. But, we need to get the lights on, so we still need to do cool projects, and actually sometimes the weeks in between Christmas and New Year's are where some of the best creative juices are flowing. Maybe it's all the ham. Anyway, there was something that I completely forgot about. When I was concepting the Odyssey, I had a smaller version in mind. And in fact, the original concept art, which I'd have to dig up somewhere, I can't find it right at this moment, had a substantially smaller ship in mind. Of course, as usually is the way of things, the ship got bigger and bigger. And but the approximate idea behind the smaller version of it, we called it the Argo. And here is essentially what it would have looked like in scale. So I was just like, well, we have most of these parts. I see that you are quite amused by something. Anyway, we'll leave that alone.
Okay. You don't want to hear the new name for the smaller Odyssey?
The Oddity.
Yes.
It's not that funny.
I found it funny.
It's not Greek.
Nah.
The Argo is like the ship of Jason and the Argonauts, so it's like, that made sense.
Yeah.
It's not punny enough, Shergel. Work harder. So, I decided to think... Ben hasn't infected us hasn't been infected as of late. Right, yeah, sorry. I need to get the mask out. Anyway, this is the approximate size of it. I think I might even cut it down a little bit more to make it truly be a smaller version. But I was just like, okay, how quick could we knock this out? Because this ship in theory is modular. I reckon about 80% of it is already done. Why don't we have a stream where we try? So I've had about an hour on this thing. Maybe an hour and a half between all the other things I've been doing. So I basically took the base Odyssey and I'm trying to turn it in to the Argo. The Argo is a bit of a weird ship because it is 2.5 levels. So there are some complications, particularly with airlocks. But I was thinking the cargo bay, we just make 1.5 in height, which actually makes plenty of sense. And then yeah, we're just in the process of moving bits and pieces up and down all over the place. And actually if I turn on my the top of it, you can kind of see the shape a little bit better if I turn on the lighting. I'll just turn it off in this scene too, just so I'm not stealing too much. So here you can see untone mapped sRGB. This is a bit on the dark side, but let's go with it for now. So yeah, you can kind of see the bubble I've already adjusted to sort of fit. We just need to move some things around, so I thought, yeah, we would just work with this today. And yeah, we've got the solution for the bottom is simply the ramp for downstairs. We're going to need some new pieces for the sides. We need to downsize all of our bulkheads and work on the layout as well. But hey, we've gotten a head start, so let's see how far we can get with this today. Shoot the breeze and talk about how awesome Gridforge is as well. I don't know if I want to Gridforge this at the moment because I think it would add about 2 days to the production, but yeah, I just thought it would be a fun little experiment. We'll see how far we get, whether or not it's worth continuing. So I'm kind of in the process of pulling things out that we don't need. And I don't know if I want to keep the side airlock. I was wondering if maybe we could do something with our rear airlock variant that we did. Let's see, this one. Oh, yeah, it's going to take some time with the lighting. Going to turn the lighting off next. So there it's turned up. We've got an autosave going on. Narrow bubble looks like a fighter jet helicopter gunship. Excellent. Alright. So the lighting is off. So yeah, we have this rear airlock on this version. It needs to come down. But we do have an issue there where the power plant's in the way. So I don't know. I'm kind of a few different minds here on what we should do. My sort of idea here is that it's going to have less engines but more power. Don't know how they really work anyway. Sci-fi magic, I would say. But yeah, let's move some things out. I've generally got my grid turned on. And I'm basically... I've got to stop saying basically so many times. I said it like about 1,500 times at role-playing last night. And it was driving me insane. So I'm also just going to add... Let's turn the deck A hull off there so we can easily access this. So yeah, I'm just moving aside the parts that we don't immediately want to use. This thing is a little dark. Maybe we switch back to this one. We also can get rid of that frame. But yeah, the Argo is a smaller ship. I'm guessing the top deck, you've probably got your living quarters. Mainly it's got that cargo bay. I'll probably make the top of it a bit taller as well. But I'm not entirely sure yet, so... This is the Narrow Odyssey, yes, the Argo. The Diet Odyssey. You like the trireme feel of Argo's hull. Now it needs oars in a half level. Well, I mean... on the half level, okay. Kind of like, it sounds like in 1980s French children's show or something. So I'm just moving some of this equipment aside because I don't think we do. Either it's not going to be in here or it's not needed. We need to cut some of this down to size. I'm kind of thinking we start getting a bit creative. Actually, let's drop down to deck A so that I was just finishing this up before we started. And essentially combining some parts into one. Now this will be harder to paint. It is true. But at the same time, I think it'll be fun. And why did I move all of that over if this is its own thing? So that was very silly of me. There we go. It can be its own thing and just be in the middle. So it's like, yeah, it is an Odyssey Lite. Right, so from this side, all I want is this tile. Sorry, not that thing. This tile and this tile. We're gonna eject them, banish them, and we'll just move that over. Do the same on the opposite side. Uh-oh. What has happened here? It looks like maybe I've been a bad boy. No, it's alright. It's alright. I'm not that bad. Okay, so I just wanted to get that out of the mesh because we're going to start integrating things a little bit. So we need to remove this area and take this all out and gut it. Wait, no we don't. I'm gutting too much. No, this part's alright. So we'll go there. So how insane is this plan? I'm asking you guys. Obviously not Albin. Alright, so is the Argonaut just side quest compared to the Odyssey? Huh?
Instead of...
Is that an attempt to pun, or?
Yeah. I guess the Odyssey is a big effort and this is just a side.
Benjamin agrees that this is a plan. And it's reasonable. Which is disconcerting.
Tamsin though thinks it's the right amount of insane.
Thank you, Tamsin. Ever reliable.
Yes. Oh, fun.
So yeah, just by creating that gap, we've got our patterns back now. So there won't be a ton of room for miniatures in this thing. You might, with like a 25mm, be able to sort of like angle it in under this sort of square. So it's not going to be the most practical version of things, but I think it's still valid. So I want to take this thing and duplicate it, and we're basically just, there we go again. We're going to grab all of this stuff we want to keep, which is just the stuff over here, and delete everything in between there. So, oops, let's get that. I think we can get rid of, actually, all the way over to here. So we end up with a nice area that we can just sort of have clear for that machinery that we're going to keep. So let's see. Brain is struggling today. We're going to have a cleaning party after this too. I'm so looking forward to it. I love cleaning. Anyway. Let's see. Next time I visit you, I need to make a Thomas the Tank Engine Benjamin and for train people. What? Why can't you do that where you are? What concern do you have? And why would it be legal there but not here? I mean, why wouldn't it? Yeah, the opposite. Does it require social democracy?
Oh, saucy.
Saucy?
That's not really what I wanted to say. But that's what you get.
Okay, moving on. I kind of feel like there was some kind of mechanic in here that we're missing. Oh, yeah, okay. This thing. We forgot all about that. So that was the way to lock in the scanner at the front. So the question is if we should take out the scanner or if we want to accommodate this thing. Because that does create some issues. I'm going to say at the moment, we're going to take the scanner out. And if we put it in later, sure, great, that's fantastic. We're wonderful people that accomplish great things. But at the moment, I think we get rid of it. So the Argo is still a science ship, right? Needs sensor doodads. I don't know that it is. I don't know that it is. Maybe it's just a little hauler or something, or a little scout, or I guess it needs some kind of sensors, but in what form they take, I don't know. Maybe they're invisible sensors. To sense invisible things, you need an invisible sensor, right?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Or
okay, that was better. That was better.
Doodads. That's a fun word.
The doodads are the ones that approve or disapprove.
Well, they're not to do it.
Okay, so what is this thing? Oh, it's part of the base of this. I don't like it. God, I sound like my Auntie Claire. She was a wonderful woman. Chain smoker. Spoke her mind. And I'll never forget that. Used to run a diner, actually. And I'll never forget at my grandparents' golden wedding anniversary, where we sat at the same table as her. We got served our food, and all she said was, "I don't know what this is, but I don't like it." I don't think she tasted it. Quite the character. Alrighty. Let's combine these objects. Oh, it looks like we did some damage here. Yes, sensors that conform to the hull. Okay, so I think the easiest thing to do here is probably, if we're very lucky, and I've been a clever boy, which is a big if, we should be able to bridge all of this. Wow, it worked. I can't believe that. I thought I was bluffing. So we just close that off. Nice. And then magically it appears. Okay. So then we just need a little slot in here for our floor tiles, basically. So, and I said basically again. Essentially. Alrighty, so just by eye, I can already see that the distance between here and here is correct. So if I just want this to go down as much, I should be able to just bridge this section. Very rough job. And see how it's taking a lot of time? Maybe we'll just do a little trick and put on the a few things you can do to speed processes up in Maya. One of them is to switch to the default material, which you'll notice is no longer any color. But when I create new new sections, it's not taking as long to figure out, hey, where do you want this? Bay 12. Alright. So, now we have a basic area. We've still got these. I'm just gonna go crazy and put some engons in here. This is one of the typical examples of where an engon's not going to do too much damage. Let's see. Isn't the aux command module about the right size / shape for Benjamin in the tank? Oh, why? You are monsters. And we deserve you. But yes, John created this monster. So I guess through these years of supporting John, we've brought this upon ourselves. We should have nipped it in the butt. Nipped it in the bud. I'm one of those people that just tried to say nip it in the butt. Which sounds like that's how puppies deal with their problems.
That's how, like what?
How puppies deal with their problems. Puppies!
Puppies! Ah, okay. I thought we were doing some Australian slang.
Nope, none of that today.
Because it's party day today.
That's right, she'll be apples. Okay, I don't love this, but let's grab this line and do an extrusion and bring it all the way back. Bring it on back. And it looks like we can probably get away with doing that once more, but up. Once more with feeling. And let's bridge that closed, bridge that closed. Another thing that can speed things up is deleting the history. One tiny little problem there. And I've just realized too, actually, that there's a gap, so the quick and easy way to deal with this gap would be to bridge the gap. But yeah, I think we'll just do a quick and dirty solution, which would be to move this forward to here and move this forward to here. And this is not as quick as I was hoping, actually, in part because I was thinking, you know, we could move the whole pieces, but here we're dealing with detail pieces. We should be maybe organizing, once we're done with this bit, what we're going to do with the rest of this thing, so we just get the exterior looking right. I still think it's possible to get this proof of concept done in less than a work day, so that would be another like maybe a weekend project. No, not working all the time, but it's like, what are you gonna do when the little astronaut's repairing things all the time? Put him on auto, and then work him by out before coming back to it. So there we go. Now we can integrate these floors. Mesh, combine, and there we go, and let's make it pretty again. Yeah, that looks good. That looks like it'll work. And down below, yeah, that's a bit of a sharp pattern there. What's going on there? So it doth appear
basically that
Did you say basically?
Yes.
We don't say that anymore. So yeah, it just wasn't the right angle. So now this is all even. Basically improving the appearance. Yeah, that was deliberate. So yeah, I'm just going to take out some of these edges because we don't need them, and I'll even soften them, and maybe if we're lucky, it won't look as jagged and jarring. Yeah, that's a bit better. All right. So basically, Brian, you wanted me to say basically some more. That's my takeaway. A pirate would take an Argo and length it to an Argo. Argo. That's good. Come on, now you're cooking. That's better. I didn't see all the pirate talk. Pirate nonsense going on. So let's get finished. So we'd need a single tile in here. We've still got deck C. That makes sense. The only thing is now we technically have 2 decks. So it should just be... That shouldn't be a C then. It should be a B. Now the question is, do we have deck B versions? So we've got a deck B version, but there it's got a little thingy in it. Here. Yes, we can rip it off this. So let's add that to deck C, which actually becomes our deck B. Because it's only little. Like Lil Sebastian. Thank you, Hannes, for that contribution. The pony. How many decks will Argo have? 2. Well, it would be like... They used to call my house a 1.5 because the roof is 45 degrees. Technically, there's quite a lot of livable space. Maybe about 60%, 65% off on the floor below. But in this case, we have a double high. It's actually going to be slightly split level. So my plan is to, if this is the top of it here, the bridge will be all the way along to here, and then there'll be a staircase going up, like just a half stair going up there. You got your large cargo area, and then you drop down into engineering, which is, you know, engineering anyway. So let's turn that off. Bye bye, little Sebastian. I don't know what's going on, but I think Albin finally lost it by the sounds of things. Do you want to share with the class, Albin?
John wrote something in chat.
What? Oh.
It's so not on brand.
What? He calls Hannes heinous, and then sometimes anus.
He missed an H though.
Yeah, he does that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The rudest people I know. Actually, I'm not going to finish that thought. But anyway, the question is what these crawl spaces become and if they're actually double high. So I don't know. Actually, I think the floor will stay where it is. The difficult thing is why keep this running the whole length of the ship. This needs to go up a little bit. And the question is, where will it go up? Because it kind of feels like the natural point would be here. So that this has to become this. That would make the most sense. If there is such a thing as things making sense. being very silly today. Their real name is Hannes. I can speak for Hannes, and you don't need to use their. It's his. How dare you ungender him? And yes, I know you're just using the language as intended. I'm just being silly. Yeah, that makes more sense, I think. Although it will affect how we do this bulkhead. The question is, should this bulkhead naturally be coming up to that second deck? My thought on the matter is it kind of makes sense to extend it up. It does require a little bit more work. I think it does need a custom job because, ooh, how are we going to do this? We don't actually want that floor connecting in, and actually there's a good chance that the final version we probably do want to use some Gridforge flooring. Oh boy! Oh, I was so tired, I don't know why. Unfortunately, I'm so tired I can't do any cleaning. Was the model before the Argo the Argon? Alphabet puns, Tamsin, come on. Get on your game. Alright, so, and we can probably recycle these designs for the back. Hate the shaders. Don't mind the shape. I guess this thing is currently unarmed. I'm just waiting for the pun where someone says something about a leg. Question is, how short should this be? It feels like it should in the least be 2 inches shorter. And accordingly, all of this needs to come down. So I don't know yet if we're going to use this airlock thing because it does mean making a custom part. Essentially, it would just be we move this over to here. Wait, is that on the grid? What is with that thing? Oh, it's for the shape underneath. Okay. So if I just move these ones. To the middle. Something like that. Something like that. This thing we'll get rid of. Of course, this is a completely different scene, so I'm not really worried about saving over stuff, but we would need to get rid of this, unless we wanted to, instead of having an airlock there, just have... See, if we put an airlock there, it feels less like we have to make a custom airlock for the side, but at the same time, you park on the port side, and this doesn't look like something you could dock with easily, so it's like more like a maintenance thing. I don't know. Maybe aesthetically we would keep it, maybe not with the airlock part, but with this side. I'm unconvinced. But this thing would get moved into there. Oh, that never got moved over where it was supposed to go. Yeah, it's just a mess. I don't want to look at it anymore. Let's hide that. I'm unconvinced. So let's put on deck B and see what we've got to play with. So you can see I have moved this down. So the engine section itself we want to be half leveled. This is more of a pain. And there's a lot more that we would need to change. So unless we want to keep 2 engines here, but modify the back to do so, which I don't, it looks like there's some intersection going on. Let's see. Move this. Yeah, that's going to interfere with that. So that's a no-go. We're going to have the 5 engines. Even though like this configuration obviously looks a lot cooler. A lot cooler. Where would we have to cut it off to keep this? Oh, having said that, this could actually look more interesting. So we cut that thing off. And imagine that we're just shaping this hull a little bit more. I don't know, what do you guys reckon? More engines? Or keep the shape as it is and have 5 engines? 5 or 7? Let's get a poll running. Let's run a poll! The results? Yes. No. Alright, we've got our poll going. We've got 100. Oh, it's 50-50 now. No? 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 Wow. You guys are quite responsive. I take that as a good sign. Mind you, the 7 engines one is a bigger pain in the butt. So basically adding an extra hour or 2 to the process. Of course, we would. I'd like to keep this curve so that we just come in like say that we come in like this. Grab that. That's not working. Probably easier to deselect rather than try and select that. So if we go here, do an extrusion, and we will match. Oh, we're back down to 50%. Jeez. I don't know how much of a majority that really is. What is this other? There you go.
It's a landslide.
It's not. 53% is not. Oh, it's an American landslide.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mandate. So just something like that.
I want to date girls.
Will Richards, can I change my vote to 7?
You only get 1 vote, Richards. That's his last name. That's weird of me to refer to him like that. Isn't it?
No, not if he had 2 dads.
Ah.
Both called Richard. Will Richards. I don't know. I'm sorry, Will. But John promised to be Jim in me. What? A mandate? Is that what Donald and Elon have? Oh man, I wouldn't like to see that conversation of who's top and who's bottom. Oh man.
I would like to leave this planet. Oh, poor John.
Please don't. We need you to take notice here. Both near and from afar. So it looks like at 53% at the moment we do have a mandate. Let's see, how many votes is this? I will end the poll. And the result was even less than 53%. From 19 votes. So yeah, it looks like if there was 1 more vote for the 5, it would have been 50-50. But yeah, so I guess we're going with this. It does make some things easier and some things harder. But in general, most things are pain. So yeah, we're going to leave these crawl spaces this is... Are we? Maybe. Somewhat. So let's just see what this is going to look like when we integrate it. So we would have to have less connections here, so we don't need this one anymore. And in modern times, honestly, some of these solutions I would just do with support clips because they're smaller. And the thing I love most about support clips is how quickly they print. They print so quick. So quick.
Oh, fuck it. I fucking knew it.
There are so many people that could do the voice that were like, oh no, we're going to have to retire it now. And then they're like, oh wait, here we go. 4 more years. 4 more years.
I can still stay in business. I don't need to write new material. It writes itself.
Anyway. So, I do happen to like how this is going to end up looking. So, and I'm wondering if this is all following the same pattern. Do we really need more crawl spaces on such a small ship? Probably not. But like, it's more a case of I would put a crawl space in if I can't think of anything else.
Like, you're completely obsessed with the thought of crawl spaces. You can't stop thinking about it.
Well, you could have a spot for that. I like the idea that the Benjaminans can get to any point in the ship.
Makes for a fun game.
So fun. So I'm just going to move this aside because I don't know what to do with it at the moment. And oh, we've only got 13 minutes left. I don't like this game. Well, I mean I do, but I don't. So there's a few things we can do here. Like this thing needs to change anyway because I really kept the same power plant. I'm just squishing it all up. So gone are the pipes that we never actually have physically anyway. These batteries look like they actually connect up. So I don't mind keeping this thing. And the more we can recycle, the better, to be honest. And it should just slot right down without any issues. There's no conflicts that I can see. So the crawl spaces, it's more about what you use that space for. The annoying thing here is, because if we take it away, this is what you're left with, right? And we could leave it just like that, but why not leave it up to the customer to put it in or leave it out? Let's see. Also like the way that the center extended out at the rear. Yeah, I like that too, and we might keep some elements of it, but we need to cut this down first. So I'm thinking maybe the easiest way to do this is to let's bring this thing back again. And instead of showing it with that, let's see what it looks like with this. Because that looks cool, right? But would it look cooler if it was... Yeah, there it's not visible at all. And that doesn't look like it's actually aligning the way that it used to. So maybe, just maybe, whoops. We're going to change the pivot point of that thing. Just this thing.
So we've got a few questions, it looks like.
Oh, right, okay. Far away, Alvin.
I'm late to the party. Is this an expansion to the science ship or something entirely new?
So this was from the original campaign. We had started talking about a mini version of the Odyssey called the Argo. I thought it would be cool to stream the creation of such a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, we'll see how far we get with it. It's basically a thinner shorter, or it will be by the time I'm finished with it, and I guess it's shorter in length and shorter in height. So both the width and the beam of the ship are shortened along with the length. Not a huge amount, but enough that it's only 1.5 decks, smaller crew, still pretty much powerful engines, I'd say.
Will we be seeing Gridforge conversion of crawl spaces?
Maybe that could work. I haven't looked into the depth of the crawl spaces. Let's see, we can do a quick test, and that would just be to grab one of these and drag it down so that it is at the same base height as the tile. So it does go down a little lower, but that actually is within the tolerances of Gridforge, so maybe it would look ugly if you don't have it just like, yeah, I guess you could. I guess we could. That's not the worst idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Actually.
I find it interesting as well.
Yeah, and it is like, if you think about Gridforge, it's more for like deck plans, like for when you don't necessarily have a hull as well. Since it doesn't natively have walls. I think John's made some like door slots, but it's much more simplified in the game he made that we are not publishing at this time. We just don't have the time or resources to devote to it at the moment. We might partner up with like one page rules or something in the future to do some kind of collab there, but yeah, at the moment, no. So the question is what to do about these crawl spaces, because the engine block is kind of getting in the way, and it means that we can't access the other side. Or am I overthinking this? The answer is yes, I'm overthinking this because we can actually go... We have 1.5 levels. We're going to have to make a new tile to extend the ladders. Or, no, it's just going to have the level start... I'm pointing at the screen. That's helpful for you guys, isn't it? The door slots are only for use in games? Yeah, fair enough. We kind of have had a few situations where it's like, well, should we switch out the open lock holes? Or not? And the general consensus is probably not. But we got close. We did get close. Because we have converted the Shuttle Alpha Mark IV. Not 100%. There are 1 or 2 pieces that don't fit with that. Oh, okay, this is uneven because it's following the hull. I was considering putting in the ramp too from... I thought it would have been an option, putting a cool ramp down the bottom like we have on the Cerberus, but...
I mean, it does make a lot of sense that you have the engine department and...
Yeah, I think so. I think it is exactly as it's supposed to be. In the Traveller campaign Brian played in, the ship had a spinal mount weapon used only once in the whole time they were playing. I'm not that surprised. Spinal mount weapons means that the turret is the ship. So...
I think they were talking earlier about replacing the crawl spaces with a gun instead.
Oh, well, you're welcome to try.
Hey.
Let's see. So I think ultimately we're going to need to customize... I mean, evidently we need to customize these parts. They can't really be where they are. But that does create some issues. So it might be a case that we need to modify and combine. Oh, this part needs to go. It's gone. It's Black Friday. Oh, we've got a Black Friday sale on. Actually, let's be honest, at this point in 2024, it's no longer Black Friday, it's Black Month. The My Manufacturer sale is ongoing. Use the code BF24. All our store items 50% off. So if you are waiting to buy that Beowulf, now is the time. It drops down the Beowulf from like $75 to $37.50, which is half price. So yeah, I keep reminding you, don't call it that. What? Black Month? Oh, right, because you... I forget about the US and the issues that they have. So yeah, I mean, obviously I'm talking about the Black Friday sales. So Black Friday month, is that better, John?
Yes.
Because there's like Black History Month and that sort of thing. I think it makes it sound like I'm being racially insensitive.
Okay. I was thinking that here in Sweden it's so dark.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We assumed darkness, not race.
Yeah.
Which says a lot about us and even more about you. Because everyone looks the same in the dark.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Most excellent Clive. Oh, I bought the last Beowulf last Black Friday, and it was my first ship from us. That is awesome. I concur with Shadow Lager. Very much awesome. Oh man, I feel like I got nothing done in this hour. Which isn't true. It just goes to show how much time. Like, I think it sounds on paper, like even to me, like this is a no-brainer. It will be a quick and easy job, and we can recycle a bunch of models and make lots of money. Like, but it takes time. It takes a lot of time. And we've done a lot of work. And at the same time, it's a reminder of how much work we've done, how much progress we've made, and how far we have yet to go. Alrighty. So, down we go.
Into the darkness.
Yes. Oh, winter depression. Wait, what happened to my D3s? There's my D3s. I'm like, I need to start taking these babies. Right now, on stream. Last year's vitamins. See, the thing is, I'm a southerner. And I'm even more of a southerner than John. Because I'm from the southern hemisphere, and that's even further south.
Yeah.
But no, my point is, the winters, the darkness is quite intolerable, and I think it takes its toll even more from people that are used to quite a lot of light. And I would count myself in that, even though I was a bit of a shut-in, an oddball, if you will. Yeah, it's so dark and so depressing. Like, I remember the first time I was like, oh, it's so nice to see snow. And then like 3 months later, I'm like, how on earth did people survive here for thousands of years without central heating? And I did have central heating, so yeah. Anyway. Let's expand this back and see how it looks. I'm in the middle of rewatching The Expanse. Almost finished the first season again. It's so good. And that may or may not affect the work I'm doing going forward. Oh, that's right. We showed off what I was working on last week, didn't we? I thought it was a big secret, but I can't keep secrets from you guys. I keep telling you them to exploit it. All right. No. Oh boy. Don't get me started. We'll leave that alone for now. So that's looking a lot better. And if I'm going to start creating... Do I have a workshop layer here somewhere? I don't know that I do. But I'm just going to... All of these parts that I'm removing, but I don't want to get rid of just yet. I'm going to move over into a workshop layer. And this is a good way of using the display layers in Maya to make sure that you're not using things. Now, we're going to have to end in a second because we have to go on a cleaning spree. Let's see, workshop. And then we'll have a look at what we've got so far, alright? So let's hide that layer. And we'll tidy it up. We'll go back into our timeline here, which should change some of the things. I don't think we're going to use the windows, so let's add that to there. So we've got our deck B. It's going to need some more work, but you can start to envisage what the rear of the ship is going to look like, especially if we put the top back on. So obviously a lot of this stuff needs to disappear as well. Why don't we kill the deck B interior so we don't have to deal with that just yet, and just put the hull on. So we've got a vague idea. Wow, it is super vague. Something's missing. A lot is missing. Alright, so we're going to put this into our workshop as well. That's what we'll do. Into the workshop with you. Anything that's sticking out in our way. Like these toilets. Do you know only 1 out of 5 different ship designers remember to put in a toilet? And I am that 1 out of 5. Mostly because you guys hassle me if I don't put it in there, but hey, it's not about how you get there, it's that you get there, right? Except for the times when it isn't. God, I'm talking shit today. Okay, so I'm just going to add these last few things, and it's really all just about seeing the greater picture. The greater good. Drop these down. Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. Or could we be even cheekier and get this thing? No, let's leave it where it is for now. I'm running over. Running over the one day I'm not supposed to. Oh yeah, we need to go half down more. There we go, and just drop that. Move it over. It will suffice for now. This thing needs to... I'm just moving the pivot points to make sure that it is on the right plane. Let's see. Grab that. Hide that. Hide that. Hide that. Hide that.
I thought you said hi dad continuously at first.
No, but hi to Dad. The old man is turning 70 in 2 days. 3 days. Hope he enjoys his present. It'll get there late, but that's what happens if you live in rural New South Wales. You can't expect the post office to run on time. Now it's not post Nord, but...
Yeah.
Okay, so we had to get rid of the other side there, and of course ignore the interior. We can grab these parts from down here, and we should be able to flip and burn. Sorry for the sound effects, quite crude. I'll do better. Duplicate that. Maybe we'll change the design for the top, because I thought the rib looked good on the bottom, but yeah. And then we get a rough idea of what it looks like, right? What is that? Oh, okay, yep. Add to the workshop. Add to the workshop. And add to the workshop. And add to the workshop. And add to the workshop. Okay, so we've got a rough idea. Let's turn the lights back on. that probably wants to be moved as well. A rough idea about where we're going with this thing. I still I kind of like that cockpit look, to be honest. It's going to be cool, and that thing needs to be in the workshop as well. So yeah, with a bit more time we could have made it look even spiffier. I do want to shorten it. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to go for 1 or 2 sections. Not even sure which one I want to take it out of yet. But it kind of feels like if you really want to make it a smaller ship, that's the way to do it. Make it more Arrow-like. So yeah, I think we are about done for today. I could keep going, but I'm not allowed to, so I will see you guys next week. We are at episode 48 for this year, so we've only got 4 left. Let's cherish them. Alright guys, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week. Hello!
Bye bye!